Captain America Civil War is a pretty tightly cut film. As far as we know, there's no extra special extended cut heading our way. Like with a lot of comic book movies, this is it! Get over it! Sorry, this got real aggressive real early. The point is, this video is going to cover the few deleted scenes that we know about, and anything else that was initially considered, then disregarded, including why no Avengers ended up dying. But look, full disclosure, a lot of this is just going to be, yeah, they thought about this and then, they didn't do it. So, if you're into that, let's get started. So a big part of the process for getting Captain America 3 going was its directors, the Russo brothers, spending a few months exploring potential storylines. Nothing though felt right, and that left them wondering if a third Captain America movie was the way forward. Now, I have no idea what those other ideas were. There's been a running joke that it was going to be Serpent Society, and you never know, but definitely not. Mark Ruffalo was originally written into the film in an after-credits scene that would elaborate on what state the Hulk was left in after Avengers Age of Ultron. Apparently, though, this was too much of a big reveal and would consequently eat into his appearance in Thor Ragnarok, so it was cut before it was even filmed, despite rumors of Ruffalo being on set. As for why there was no Thor, while Robert Downey Jr. joked it was because of this. Pepper Potts, although only mentioned by name, was also originally going to appear, so that we'd get an on-screen breakup between her and Tony Stark. It was decided though that this wasn't necessary, and the breakup worked just as well off-screen, and this also leaves Iron Man in a more vulnerable place. Nick Fury was also left out, because it was thought that he would add a level of stability to the Avengers, and that way the movie could be like when a parent leaves the house, and then all the kids try to beat each other to death on an airport tarmac. Like with all Marvel characters being introduced, the Russo brothers went through a multitude of Spider-Man suit designs before finally settling on an updated version in the vein of Steve Ditko's art. About 70 variations were considered in total, which covered every possible incarnation, including the black suit. The idea of organic webbing was also floated, but it was thought that an interesting aspect of Peter Parker's character was that he's smart enough to have built his own web shooters, which is what they did in The Amazing Spider-Man, but in way too much detail and much worse. Great hair though, look at that. It's like if Edward Cullen had a baby with an Edward Cullen wig. Speaking of hair though, a version of Bucky was trialled with shorter hair, but it was thought that he didn't look much like the Winter Soldier. Interesting. I mean, it's sort of interesting. Why don't you tell me on Twitter at Mr. Sunday Movies? How out of 10, how interesting do you think that is? Some Scott Lang at home stuff was written to elaborate on his personal life. This was removed though because it was scripted before the writers had even seen Ant-Man, as was scenes with the Wasp, as it was thought it would be better to see her character coming to fruition in Ant-Man and the Wasp in 2018. Let's talk literal deleted scenes though. This is what we've got so far. Like I said, it's not a lot. Besides, apparently the shooting script doesn't differ much from the final product. Okay, so there's about a 30-second conversation between Black Widow and T'Challa in the German Ops Center after Bucky's captured, but it was thought by everybody that it was a bit too repetitive, so it was taken out. There's also a fight between Captain America and Black Widow that was removed for time. If you're curious though about who won, writers Marcus and McFeely said that they guessed Cap did as he got away in the moment. For the airport sequence, a few jokes were cut and action beats were trimmed down, as this was the moment most tinkered with in the film, as it could be done easily due to so much of it being CGI. One moment that could possibly be on the Blu-ray has Captain America's shield rolling away from him, and then War Machine flies in and picks it up, only to have it snatched away by Bucky, who throws it into his chest, knocking him down before Falcon swoops in, grabs it, and returns it to Cap. That sounds great! It might even end up being better than I described it just now, if you can believe that. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on a couple of things before I wrap this up. No Netflix characters were considered for this movie, as this started filming before Daredevil had even aired. Plus, it was said they were at capacity in terms of the number of people this film already had. Also, rumors of somebody's death were plentiful during the making of this film. I, for one, I was convinced that Captain America was going to die. And now I look like an idiot! I look like the biggest idiot! Now, there's a few reasons why this didn't happen. One being it was thought that killing someone is an easy way to end the movie. And the bigger tragedy would be the falling out between all the Avengers. They wanted to create a divide, but without using death. So yeah, ultimately the Russos wanted to end up with a no-win situation. And that's what we got. I mean, aside from Captain America beating the shit out of Tony Stark, you know, he totally won that fight. And well deserved. You know, he really dug deep. And even though he said he could have done this all day, I suspect, you know, he couldn't have. So well done. Question for you though, is there anything omitted from Civil War that you would have liked to have seen? It doesn't even have to be something that I've named here. Just like, you know, a personal preference. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you are keen, there's a list of videos in relation to Civil War that you might want to check out. Just click on the video on the left. Or if you want, I have a podcast that you might want to listen to. It's called The Weekly Planet. It's linked below, and this Monday I think we're doing best and worst third movies in a series. Should be great. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's not recorded yet. Could be terrible. All right, that'll do it. Thanks, everyone. Take care.